Welcome to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes, joined by Russell Boyce, who was the model of ACSOM's latest marketing campaign, hence the reason he was mixing or scratching or doing something. And we are here to start off your Saturday night. What time is it, actually? It's 7:20. We've just watched the fourth and the final
bedtime, Paul.
Almost. The final pre-season game before the Champions League qualifier. Boyce, we've been counting down on a Thursday with JP from 120 odd days. 3 days to go. Sum it up. Where are we right now as a team? Where are we going into this game against Midtjylland?
It's an impossible question to answer because right now, let's be honest, it is the unknown we're about to enter. Now, we've spent months trying to deliver a show that is based on facts, right? And then you go, well, it's not our fault Celtic haven't accomplished certain things. We can only comment on them at the time as they go. I am in shock. This team, put it this way. Let's pick Celtic starting 11 next Tuesday. No one has a Scooby. And that is the best way to describe this situation right now. Can you imagine any other club in the world letting a manager go in February that was already 3 months delayed on when he should have went, 4 months delayed, to then 5 months later, 4 months later, we are then now looking at going, how do we do this? How do we do it? What team are we going to put? We are the luckiest club in the world right now to have a Champions League opportunity. I've preached about this. Don't mean it like that, but you know what I mean. I have went on and on Mondays, Paul, about how lucky we are to be in the position we are to even have a Champions League qualifier. The first time in over a decade in Scottish football.
For the runners-up. You're right. Yeah. See the thing, boys, say.
To the nitty-gritty. And we are miles away from a Champions League football status. And I don't blame this on Ange. For all my analysis of Ange, we just stand by. I stand by any criticism.
No, 106 days we went without making an appointment. 3, 4, 5 months too late in relation to the decision on Neil Lennon.
Your Wi-Fi's playing up on that, Paul, or if it's mine.
Yes, there's a wee delay. There's a lag with yours, with your image.
Celtic State of Mind. My name's Russell Boyce.
So we'll wait until Russell resets his system. He has already had an issue with that and he's had to go elsewhere. We're going to work through some of your comments and hopefully Russell can reset it and we'll get back on the Russell train as soon as he's done that. With regards to what he said there, if you could give me your 11 for Tuesday night, because at this moment in time, there's a lot of questions around various positions. Does the new man, Lil Abada, make a start? Did he show you enough in the minutes that he played there that he is worth starting on the right-hand side? There's a lot of comments coming in relation to concerns around various positions on that park. One of them being Anthony Ralston at right back. Again, he seems to come in for quite a bit flack. O'Connor, I think, looked pretty composed when he came in the second half. His use of the ball was better, I feel, than Anthony Ralston's. We've got Russell Boyce coming back in. He's back in. He's looking better.
I know.
But mate, I'll tell you what. We try. I've asked.
I do apologise.
It looks better. It looks clearer. The
point I was trying to make though is we're about to enter the unknown, Paul. I don't know if that got picked up on the old. It was like watching Celtic win 7-0 against Motherwell with the Speckles. Did you watch that on one of the dodgy links? Aye, trying to hear me talk nonsense. But the genuine truth is, from what I took today, is no one in their right mind can pick a starting 11 now for Tuesday. No one can. No one has a Scooby. Do you agree with that? I mean, we are about to enter the abyss, the unknown, and we are you know the thing is on Tuesday? It's a golden ticket we've got, Paul. A golden ticket we don't deserve for the crappiest season we've ever seen ever. We have been given this life-changing chance, this 40 million bounty. Yeah, the obstacles are going to be huge. Yeah, of course they will be. But it's better to be in it than not to be. But you know what? You watch today. You watch the last 3 games. Go pick me a formation. Pick me a starting 11 and tell me who is destined to take Celtic through the first of 4 knockout rounds of the Champions League. No one can answer that question.
Well, I'll run through the team that we started with today, Boyce. You look at Barkas. Barkas has got to start. Ralston, you know, I said at the very beginning of the show, the pre-match, he was a stopgap. He still looks like a stopgap. You know, the option, though, is O'Connor, who has barely played. He's barely played for Celtic.
So let's just go straight into that. Why on earth, Paul, with a keeper who wasn't fancied by various management teams, not just Neil Lennon, although he will always be famed for he's my first choice, and then
dropping him
3 games later. Yep. John Kenny didn't fancy Barkas either. That's fact. So let's put that one to, that's still needs to be dealt with. Unless Ange sees him at the halfway line and thinks that's what he wants, fair enough. I'm not going to be overly critical of that. That might be the style he goes for. I like goalkeepers that keep shots at the goal, as Tony Haggett would say. And for me, David Marshall fills that void. It's an easy fix. But up to them. But right back, you talk about Anthony Ralston is never going to be the number 1 choice. Leo O'Connor was not loaned to Tranmere to play defensive midfield and then right back half the time, then back to defensive midfield. If we genuinely think he is Champions League qualifying material, when do we start evaluating it against that narrative, Paul?
I'll also give you another thing that shouldn't be an option, and that would be Urhoghide. I mean, he came in against Charlton. He looked very, sketchy, but we put that down to him being played potentially in his second choice position. He then played against Bristol City, looked more assured at centre half. Mm-hmm. He was challenged big time today, and he failed the test. He was hooked at half time. For me, he's not a starter. He's not a starter on Tuesday night. Anthony Ralston's played for Celtic for 5 years under 5 managers. This is his 5th manager, Ange Postecoglou. And
Paul, come on.
Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. Stephen Welsh, he's a definite starter on Tuesday night. Greg Taylor, I reckon he will start, but I think his distribution is poor. There was half a dozen in the first half where he's lost the ball. And then you move into the midfield. I thought Shaw did okay today. He's still young. Again, you're throwing him into a big, pressure-filled game. McGregor, first name on the team sheet as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't expect Moffat or Montgomery to start on Tuesday night, even though I think they're good for the future and I hope they do get some games this season. I wouldn't expect them to start.
We're talking two different sports here, Paul. 2 different sports. Champions League qualifying material or good for the future for Celtic.
Exactly.
2 completely different tangents. And that is the difference. Yes, Moffat's impressed. Montgomery's impressed. Brilliant. Is this a free hit at the Champions League? Is that where Celtic have become?
Is that such a thing?
We are the luckiest club in Europe right now after finishing 25 points behind in a Diddy League. That's how it looks at from the outside, by the way. A Diddy League. 25 points behind your nearest rival. I haven't won it in God knows how long. And yet, guess what? We don't even know.
Woefully underprepared.
Lineup for the 4 qualifiers and the first one in. We still are panicking. You're panicking.
Let's take it further. David Turnbull, 100%. He's one of the first names on the team sheet. Up front, still undecided. I don't know if it's Albion Ayeti. I don't know if it's Odsonne Edouard. Mm-hmm. But what I would say is that even on that performance, Leo Labada starts for me. Right-hand side, he starts the game on Tuesday night.
The energy.
And he's a 19-year-old. He's a 19-year-old player, but he's got plenty of games in his legs. This is the issue that we've got. Is Sorrow injured and is he out on Tuesday night? Potentially. Is Beaton, because something's talking about a back injury? Because if so, that is a huge worry for me. Chris Ayer's obviously not getting played because he's on his way out. Liam Shaw's in there. That's a big risk. Is he a bigger risk than Cham? You know, there's the kind of debate. Ryan Christie's fallen off the edge of a cliff, so we can't even consider him. You know, so we really are in dire straits. When I spoke about a £60 million gamble, people thought that was disrespectful to Ange Postecoglou. I meant the board had made that gamble. They made that gamble by failing to act last October, when it was clear to anybody who was watching Celtic that we had to make a change. And they've made that gamble by putting all their eggs in Eddie Howe basket, which we know, and waiting for that for too long without any guarantee that we had something at the end of it. And they made that gamble by taking 106 days to appoint Ange Postecoglou. We're now at a situation where we really are that scene in Wallace and Gromit with a dog that's on the train and he's putting the train tracks down as the train's careering to the end of a cliff. That's where we are right now. If we get a result on Tuesday night, then I will be amazed. At this juncture, I'll be amazed. And I know that people are going to say, oh, here we go. ACSOM's been negative again. That showed it today. We were up against the side there, who I think were 15th in the Championship last season, right? And they bossed us. They were far more organised. They've got a game plan. And just trying his hardest here. He doesn't have the personnel. He doesn't have a functioning defence, Boise. We still don't know. I think Bacchus, for me, is a shoo-in. I'd pick him every day of the week over Scott Bain.
Oh, 100%.
But we still don't know because he is trying to give both goalkeepers a half to see who they pick. We've left it far too late. And I don't think a club like Celtic should ever see a Champions League qualifier as a free hit. We need to win that. We need to qualify.
There's so much unknowns going on right now, Paul. You're absolutely spot on, by the way. Preston North End, I would guess, are 2 weeks behind us in pre-season as well. Take that on the chin. And start thinking big time and going, they will look far more organised, as you say, far more slick. And you know something? Pre-season friendlies are one of these, as I said at the start, do we judge too much on it? Do we get over it? Oh, I don't care about the result. It's what I'm seeing in the park. That defence needs a leader. Now, I am not disputing if Celtic are resting the laurels of Chris Julian. I have a lot of faith in this guy. But the here and now is Chris Julian costs £7 million. They've got a golden ticket to 40 million if you just use your marbles. And it could be, again, if you win the league, a further 40 million next year. But again, we'll sit tight. We will rest on the laurels, Paul John Dykes, on Julian coming back October, Welsh to carry the can for between now and then. Hopefully Starfelt comes, but let's haggle over a couple of quid on that as well. Doesn't make sense. The team needs maturity. That is the word that comes to my mind when I look at them. They need someone who just to. And I know that people think, oh, football's moved on from them. Has it? Because I'll tell you this, see when Rangers signed Balogun last season from Wigan, who got relegated to League One, from the Championship, we laughed, we scoffed. He just had a bit of know-how about him. They sign players that I think are league, maybe not sell-on ready, but SPFL ready. What is your big goal this season, Paul? Do you want to make £50 million in profit next summer? Or do you want to wrestle your title back and get in the Champions League groups, if you win it?
For me, Russell, the priority for Celtic every season is always the league. Yeah. But, as I said before, when it comes to Europe, Celtic, for two reasons, can never say that you get a free hit at Europe because of the way that we've misprepared for it. And the two reasons are, we've got the bounty that we actually require now because of what's happened over the last 18 months in terms of the pandemic, loss of revenue. But also, you look at the heritage, the traditions of Celtic Football Club, and a lot of that is based on, we'll sign you and we'll give you that platform, and that platform's Champions League. We never say to a player coming to Celtic, we're going to give you that platform's the Scottish Premiership. That isn't how we sell it. We don't sell Hamilton Accies on a Tuesday night at Celtic Park. We sell the European dream, right? Now, Kevin, since the beginning of ACSOM, has argued the case that Celtic are no longer a Champions League club. And he's argued that they're now a Europa League club. We have the opportunity, like you say, and it is a Willy Wonka golden ticket opportunity to get into the Champions League group stages. So we don't just say, oh, you know, it's a free hit, and we're allowing ourselves to go in unprepared for two reasons: financially, and also there's the knock on. If you're going for a player like Starfelt, and there's only one other club that could go for any of these players that we're trying to buy in at this moment in time, and it's a 2-horse race to buy that player, and one club's in Europe, the other one isn't. It's a no-brainer. And it doesn't matter if they played the Green and White Hoops team at Subbuteo when they were 12 back in Sweden. They will go to the team that's on the bigger platform. And there was a good point on social media that I read with the reaction of Brentford, really? About Ajer leaving Celtic. And the point that was made was, well, he's playing on a much bigger platform by going to Brentford. It's maybe his best option at this moment in time. The club at this moment in time are far better run than Celtic. They rely much heavier on data analysis rather than Celtic do. So they've actually stolen a charge on Celtic. Are they as big as Celtic? Of course they're not. 100% not. But there are bigger criteria for a player like Chris Ajer when leaving Celtic to move on to that, because he actually does see that as a step in the right direction for his career. I'd be quite happy to get the £15 million all in for Chris Ajer, and I think it's the right move for the club. Boise, but the point remains, Scottish football isn't the platform, it's the European platform. So in preparation for this game on Tuesday, we've played 4 games, 2 wins, a draw and a loss. Have you seen enough in those 4 games that gives you any kind of confidence that we can get a result on Tuesday? My answer is no, 100% no. At this moment in time, I want to be proved wrong. Ange Postecoglou's body language, the way that he was communicating with the players, because obviously you hear it. We're no piping the elevator chants into it. You can hear it. He's frustrated, Boise. Already, you can tell he's frustrated. You could hear him barking instructions at various players about their position, about taking too long on the ball. And, you know, all that should happen if you've got 8-9 games before your big game. We don't have that. In fact, all 4 games have now been played and we're going in on Tuesday. And this isn't me being negative. I mean, nothing would thrill me more than us going out on Tuesday night and getting a result. I just don't think we've got the personnel, Russell.
I don't even think you know that, Paul. I just generally think the fact is it's the abyss. It's the unknown. You have no idea who we're going to sign between now and then, who's getting rushed into the 11 and getting heralded as a genius move. You know, these guys, whoever it is, whether it's Starfelt or not, needed a week to 10 days in the camp. Perhaps a match against Preston North End today to settle in. But honestly, it's a lottery what this team's going to be on Tuesday. So we have no foresight as to whether they think it will go well, whether it won't. The chances are when you don't know, you obviously think negatively, and I'm on your boat with that. But I've never felt in a position before where I'm going, why is everything taking so long? What is going on? Why is everything taking so long? Apart from the signing of Kyogo, which I love, because look at the reaction we gave. Look at the reaction the Celtic fan base gave. The positivity levels go through the roof. So do not ever question whether Celtic fans, whether they're ACSOM fans or whatever pod they watch or whatever season ticket, whatever seat they've got, are supportive of the club. When the club get it right, we back it. We love it. We talk it up. But by God, when they get it wrong, I just feel it's amateur we're in right now.
Thing is, Russell, when they get it right, we do big it up. We've bigged up a lot of what.
Enough.
Yeah, well, Don Mackay's done a lot of good since he's came in, and we've spoken about it. Ange Postecoglou was appointed. We have been positive about what we've seen so far from him, including his philosophy and how he wants to implement that at Celtic. From the new signings, I think that when you look at Urhoghide and Shaw, we've been very positive about Shaw. We've been as positive as we can be about Urhoghide. I think that if today he failed the test today, which might have been a step up from what he's used to, then you can't expect him to step up a few other tiers to a European Champions League qualifier. The other two signings this week, massively positive about it, to such a degree that I would throw Leo right into the side. I would put Abada right into the side. He would be a starter for me because I think he gave you something. You could tell that you know he's just came in at the tail end of last week. He's had a press conference and he said the Celtic fans are the greatest in the world. Brilliant. Following day, he meets the fans and he gives us a press conference and Laura spoke to him. Excellent. And then day 3, he's playing. And you can tell that there's been that whirlwind. And you could tell that there was a couple of stray passes because, you know, he doesn't know who he's playing with. But even then... He's just joined. But even then, we're in a situation where I still think, throw him in. Play him from the start. Because he gives you something in that area of the field, Russell, that we lack. You know, we started off this season with Forrest. COVID took effect. We then throw in Dembele, injured. So wide right, we throw in young Moffat. Now, young Moffat, I love what I've seen so far. He's not going to start on Tuesday night. You can't do that to the kid because actually I think that could be detrimental to his development. So Leo Abada, international player, you know, 70 or 80 first team games under his belt. He's only 19, but I think he can handle this. He can handle it. And I reckon we need to start with him. Starfelt, you know, if he comes in with regards to, you've got to isolate and everything else. There's no chance. I don't think that he's going to be anywhere near it if he comes in, indeed. And I do like the way that the club just kind of dropped the signing, the confirmation of the signing. That was great because in this day and age, you think that everything comes through sources and the great sources online, etc. And if they say it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And Celtic just drop a curveball. I thought it was tremendous. Long may that continue, by the way. But for me, I'm bringing up McGrory. Now, McGrory and I have disagreed in the past on ACSOM Bulletin, but actually, I'm looking at this and I can't disagree with him or her. Second game in a row, we have been dire as our lack of quality all over the park is plain to see. I can't disagree with that. Anyone half decent will rip us apart, and that is my fear. I've seen a couple of really horrific, in fact, more than a couple of really horrific European performances and results. Probably the furthest back would be Neuchâtel Xamax when they beat us 5-1 away in Switzerland. Wow. Yep. Brian O'Neill scored the header. Then you've got Slovan Bratislava under Gordon Strachan. We almost pulled that back, bizarrely enough. And then you've had hammerings from Barcelona and PSG. That kind of calibre of club, your PSG and Barcelona, that's not what we're up against on Tuesday, but we're up against a very tidy club, a very tidy side in Midtjylland. And if we're not at the races, you know, I've seen so many crosses going into that box today, Russell, and I'm thinking we've not learned anything from last season. It was just due to the fact that probably Preston are a couple of weeks behind us, like you pointed out, Russell, and they didn't have that cutting edge up front, and a wee bit of luck that they didn't score 2 or 3, because, I mean, 3 or 4 occasions, I've got them noted here, ball into the box, we were nowhere. Nobody's commanding the area, and that goes back to the goalkeeper and the 2 centre-halves. Can I just make a point as well? Because, you know, I don't like to be completely negative about this. See, when Dane Murray came on, I think he looked more composed at the back than Urhoghide. I actually think that he looked like a better option at the back. But then it begs the question, if Beaton's injured, Boyce, right, and Urhoghide's started the last 2 games at centre-half, maybe to get an understanding with Welsh, then I'm thinking Ange is going to start Urhoghide. Murray's played better today, but it's a massive risk, again, going back to Owen Moffat, to throw an 18-year-old into the mix. But we're wafer thin at the back. Centre-half position is a big issue. So it begs the question, how did we get here? Because it's not happened this pre-season. It's not happened this pre-season that we're in this situation.
Let's use the terminology that you used earlier on. Abada, you would throw him in. Why are we throwing in £3.5 million signings?
You're chancing it.
Why is it a throw-in? Why is it a throw-in? Why is that not a player? And let's be honest, we'll know the root, the source.
Is Lawrence came in under a pseudonym? Alex Birrell, never a penalty. Kevin Clancy. By the way, it wasn't a penalty, but that doesn't take away.
There's only one Lawrence Connolly, so you know, you look up to you, Alex.
Actually, Lawrence is commenting under his own name, but I'm just going to have to read that before I bring it up because my eyesight's not the best. Here we go. We have a manager who has a track record of using the first season to mould his team, and then the second season onwards they win. Do we expect it to be different now he's at Celtic? Good question, but the answer is yes, because you cannot. Second is nothing in Glasgow. You finish second. You finish second. You finish last.
Yeah, let's get a few things absolutely crystal clear here. One, we've talked about Willy Wonka's golden ticket. Unbelievable. We have the opportunity. I'm not saying it's a freebie. It's not a freebie. It's a very difficult passage. But thank God, go for it. Well, you just show some ambition and go, we are the luckiest club in the world to finish 25 points behind and we have a chance to win it. But right, forget that. Let's say we fail. I need this club not to be working on 2022 to 23 season. Come on. We have got a 14 million, the first time I could think of, I don't know when, since 2008, something like that you win the league, guaranteed group stage. So literally, forget about the actual group stage itself. You mentioned some bad results there, Paul. That happens. But those results get better the more you're in the competition. But this time, you win the league, you're in the group stage. So, in effect, it's 35 billion prize. You're literally getting gifted an unbelievable sum of money.
And we've gambled, and that was my point.
Let's talk about Lawrence's project. He always thinks here, unless you've done your homework or whatever, this is what he does. Ange Postecoglou has never dealt with someone against him that is 24 points, that's me, 25 points clear. Maybe later. And your biggest rival. So see if you don't win the league, who wins it? Then
exactly.
So then you add another 40 million to their empire or whatever they think it is it's running. And whatever your project you've got has got then to adapt to an even harder competition.
Yes.
So the time is now.
No, you're right.
The time is now. And Ange Postecoglou is someone for whatever criticism I gave of his track record, I felt it was over dressed up. I thought it was a wee bit embarrassing, some of the stuff I've seen, especially that Dan for Japan, whatever, mate. Nonsense. But seeing you actually look at what he's got to go up against and the tools he's been given so far, you can't help but feel sorry for him, Paul, like you touched on. You just can't help but feel sorry for him.
It was an interesting Morrissey lyric that you used there. There's a few others. Girlfriend in a coma. I know. It's really serious. That's how I feel about Celtic right now, because they are your mistress when you're married, aren't they? So James, here we go. We need experience and physicality at the back, 100%. And that's what I like about Murray. I thought Murray come in and he played beyond his years for me. I've been impressed with Held, but you're talking about a 17 and an 18-year-old. It's incredible. We don't win anything in the air, James, 100%. Here's one for you before we go, because that's been an interesting half an hour. We're coming in from Daniel Mack. If you're watching on YouTube, ladies and gents, make sure that you subscribe to our channel, because we're giving away massive amounts of freebies. Gold discs, platinum discs, signed Bobby Lennox stuff, signed Bertie Auld stuff, Danny McGrain, it's all in there.
Signed ACSOM tops.
Could be. Bolly will start. Listen, that is a genuine dilemma. Now, see when it was announced that he was one of the guys coming on, and I think there was 5 came on at the same time at that point, I thought there was a mixed reaction in the stadium. Boise, did you pick that up?
Yes.
There was a mixed reaction from the fans when his name was called over the tannoy. And I understand that, right? Because his misdemeanor was the beginning of the unraveling of our season last year. And he was partly to blame, as were many others partly to blame for what happened. But you ask the question, does he start? I still think he'll stick with Taylor. Now, Taylor doesn't do enough for me in the final third offensively, but there's plenty that he does well. He does provide out balls throughout the game because he's got an engine. In terms of defensively, he's got a defensive mind because he's come from a defensive background in terms of where he came from in Kilmarnock. But that might be useful to us on Tuesday, because I can't see us pressing the way we would like to against this side on Tuesday night, Boise. So I would actually say Taylor starts.
I totally get you. But let's then look at the goalkeeper position. You've got Barkas at the halfway line first half, spraying a square ball. But yeah, it's always Bain second half. Keeps chop. If he's not made his mind up in the goalkeeper yet, what gives you such confidence he's got his judgment made on any position? Because for me, Barkas was the guy who you needed to build back up. Agreed? He was the guy.
Absolutely.
Now,
yeah, he did, aye.
Why do you keep sharing the position over the thirds game? You know, the one that was 30 minutes. Why is Barkas just give him 90? Give him 90. If you're that committed to him, he gets the 90. Even today, I don't know the benefit. If you're going to go with one or the other, I thought giving them 45 minutes today was.
I thought in the first half, I was pretty happy with Barkas, I've got to say. Was it due to this dislocated finger? Was it flaring up? Who knows? Here's a point, no, Mick B makes. Bolly had no respect for Celtic. Absolutely spot on. Mika, sorry, not Mick B. Mika, he had no respect for Celtic. He had no respect for every single fan that's tuned in today. He totally disrespected a lot of us, but we've put ourselves in a position as a club where he is a genuine candidate for that left back spot. So it says more about us as a football club than it does about him. Because, yeah, absolutely, you'd have chased him. You know, last season you'd have chased him at the door. I never thought I'd see him back. But now he is definitely the second choice left back. Yeah,
it's a viable option.
I know.
And honestly, anyone wants to think there's all about negativity off their heads. Reality bites. Tuesday is reality. Now, I'm delighted with the Japanese striker Kyogo joining, because for me it was the first time, and I said this on Twitter, I went, it's the first time it felt like a manager made a decision, Paul, and went, you've not scouted him. You've not scouted. I know him. He's my call. Are you going to back me and get him in or not? I don't know what the money would be involved in that, but I'm going to guess a J-League striker, 14 and 20 games. I wouldn't imagine they were cheap.
They're talking 5 million. I mean, that was quoted today during the commentary as well. 5 million on a transfer fee.
Yeah.
So you know.
That doesn't surprise me. But is it not wonderfully refreshing to see a manager go, and you go, there's no way he was on the radar. I'm sick of looking at the old list. I'm sick of seeing the same names linked. Or can we recreate that deal? Can we refresh the movements on that one? This one is feels like a new start.
Thing is, Boise,
it's all too late.
If we've just spent 5 million on one side of the park, 3.5 on the other, right? It still doesn't solve the problem at the back, and that's a bigger priority. That's a massive priority. Yeah. One final thing: Stephen McDonald comes in to pray. He prays. Yeah, I prefer that emoji since Italy won the European Championship. There you go. Yeah, we can all pray. Listen, we'll be back on Monday, 12:30 for the ACSOM Bulletin. Russell Boyce, you've been tremendous, because about half an hour before this show, you didn't even have Wi-Fi. You've belted it to your mothers. You got a signal, and we watched the game. It was a disappointing pre-season friendly leading into Midtjylland on Tuesday. Hopefully we can have one of the nights, Boyce, where the players play without fear. Remember against Lille, who went on to win League, is it Un? League Un. Yes, Un. Should have stuck into my French. I took German.
Yeah, always remember, just quickly, because it's nice, it's Saturday night, let's have fun. Best of performance, Liam Miller. God rest his soul, but that performance against Lyon, wow. Henrik did the 2 assists. Chris Sutton scored one header, Liam Miller the other. Wow. We took them to school that night. Why?
It happens from time to time. It happens, mate. And by the way, if it does, I'll be as happy as everybody else. It's never about.
It wasn't about fortune. It was well executed.
Different gravy back then. I look forward to Tuesday regardless, but we will see you back at 12:30 on Monday. Thanks everybody for getting involved. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. And thank you again, Russell Boyce.